Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I actually want to do a SNOWRUNNER mod review on FROGGYS CHEVY K1500. Now, my last video seems like I'm just kind of out to get him, which I'm not. There is a couple of mods that he made that are, in my opinion, really decent, and it is a recent mod, but the CHEVY K1500 is one of those ones. I think this is actually a really well done mod. And so I'm going to review it and put it through the torture test today and everything from A to Z, guys. You know what to do, drop a like on the video, and don't forget to sub to the channel. Alrighty, guys, let's customize FROGGYS CHEVY K1500 single cab. So we're going to put 1000 HP engine in it, off-road gearbox, crawler suspension, 39-inch boggers, roll bar, and some repair parts, which actually added some weight, I think, because it dropped down pretty quick. Change the rims. We're going to leave it FROGGYS purple color. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this all the way to torture test in Northport, Alaska. Alright, so the engine is a little bit noisy. One thing that I noticed is you can lift it, you can change the suspension mode on the crawler, and I don't know if it's with every suspension or not. And I like where the winch points are on this as well. And, you know, the engine sounds, they are what they are. They sound a little overpowered, but, I mean, how often do you see an older Chevy K1500 like this, for example, that doesn't sound overpowered? The one thing I like is the ability to actually raise and lower the suspension, so we're actually going to drop it down, because you kind of want it a little bit lower when you're driving in situations like this on the road, especially on icy roads where you can get, you know, a little tiny bit of speed. I think the raised suspension really comes in handy when you're going through a mud pit or you're off-road or anything of that nature. Yeah. There's some weird lines in the mirrors. I'm not exactly sure what they are. Oh, it's because we have tow mirrors. But there is still those lines in the top mirror, and I'm not sure what they're from or if it's a glitch. And, you know, for a free model that FROGGY's offering, the interior seems to be really well done on this one. I will say that. Pop it in a high and go through the snow here. Yeah, it actually is going through no problem. We do have all-wheel drive on and the diff lock on. They're locked on, of course. But I'm excited to put this into the torture test. I really am. Engine roar. So we're still in automatic, and now we dug ourselves quite a bit. Let's pop it into low minus and see how we do. No, nothing. We might have just honestly dug ourselves just a little too deep. Let's winch ourselves out of here and see how we do under a normal situation. And if we have to, honestly, we might just have to downgrade the engine and see if that helps. I know we have the right suspension for this. Transmission, but do we actually have way too powerful of an engine for this? That might be the case. We're going to put it in a low minus here and see how we do. It does jerk a little bit. Another thing that I'm going to give a positive note on is the suspension detail is really well done in this Chevy K1500. We seem to be doing okay here so far in the low minus. I haven't really ran into that scenario where we're just stuck and spinning yet. So as I kind of suspected, flying into that part of the pit in automatic, we did just kind of dig ourselves a little too deep. So far, we're doing okay. And this is a scenario where, you know, FROGGYS mods stand out really not as OP as they might appear by looking at them, for example. So I think what we're going to need to do, guys, possibly, is downgrade the engine. So let's go and recover. Actually, let's change the suspension mode. I don't think we've done that yet. Let's see if that helps at all. No, it hasn't. Alright, so let's recover and let's actually grab the lower engine and see if that helps. We'll put the performance engine on. This might just kick back the torque enough to make it through that mud pit okay. We do have the 39-inch boggers on, so I really can't see a scenario where we're going to need to do anything different other than the engine. And that's one thing that you have to remember in any truck you're driving, IRL and in the game, is if you have a lot of power and a lot of low-end torque, like the higher tier engine probably has, you will spin pretty easy. And I know Frogg's tires aren't quite as grippy as Quasi's, for example, and that's another small factor, but I don't think that takes away from the tires. They are supposed to be boggers anyways. It does fine in the snow, really. Okay, and I wasn't sure, but we are still lifted, which is a good plus for us. I wasn't sure if it would stay lifted given the fact that we had recovered. So now we're going to pop it in a low minus and see how we do. I wouldn't be able to keep it in a low. No, we're going to try in a low minus just to make sure. I want to give this the best chance that we can to make it through the torture test. So I popped in a low, we spun, but not very much. And now we just seem to be spinning. The tires might honestly be too small. We do have the slightly downgraded engine as well, which I thought would help. You know, one thing that we can say for sure is this is an OP. Might be a lot more on the bounce side than I originally thought. And when you're driving and not idling, the sounds do sound fairly decent. Again, for what you would expect out of an older Chevy K1500. Yeah, we're going to try our luck here on this side. Might be bogging down a little bit, but we're still going, guys. And if we continue to make it, I think it'll be safe to say that the other side of the mud pit is just a little too deep for this truck, but it is capable of deep mud. We've seen how it performed in the snow. It's really impressive in the snow back there. And these tree branches, as much as I thought they'd hold us up, we're able to break them and knock them under, which is good. We haven't had to use a winch on this side yet at all. Knock on wood. No pun intended with these tree branches here, but alright, so we did get caught up a little bit on that branch, so we're going to have to winch a little bit now. Just to get our momentum. There we go, we got it. There's another tree branch. Let's see if we can push this out before we get caught up. And we couldn't, so again we have to winch. That's okay. Especially in a scout vehicle, you should be prepared to winch the odd time. And for the most part, it made it through on its own. And we're climbing out, guys. As buried as we are. I do think that this truck could benefit from slightly bigger tires, maybe even 45s. I don't know if that's a little unrealistic, but Popping in automatic now that we're out of here. And here, once we're in fourth gear, the sound in this truck just really starts to shine. Just kind of puts along an automatic in fourth gear. This is pretty crazy, I will say. But this is where we're going to end it here, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will say, you know, there is some mods, again, that Froggy makes that just aren't bad. And they're not stolen. This isn't a stolen model, I don't believe. But I do say, you know, this mod in particular, it's worth checking out. And the link is going to be in the description. I will say that. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and a sub to the channel.